So, what we see is a dark room. One that none of you recognize. None that you have seen before. None that anyone has seen for a long, long time. It's mostly empty. The walls are cracked and ruined. The furniture and items carved from stone or crafted using various materials all lay in ruin. Whoever was in here, the last people that made their way through here, whatever they were doing has been completely lost to time. And it's interesting because looking about this space, there's no dust, no cobwebs. There's no molds or growth, no rats or bugs. There's no life of any kind. It's as if everything simply stopped. Everything is dead. It's dead quiet. There's no sound, no light, no feeling. There's only understanding of the space. For the visuals, the interpretation of this room is all that truly remains. And towards the far back of these twisting corridors and collapsed spaces, we see a distinct chamber that's ever so slightly, softly illuminated. With not a light, but a presence. At the far back of this ruins, we see something stir. And then we come back to our heroes, our unique individuals that pertain to this story. And where you are currently is atop a very lovely vista. Stretching out across the sea, there is just endless water. The view from this very high society, sort of kind of run down, not really seedy bar, but very unique patronage. High atop a cliff that overlooks the sea, there's a very interesting location called the High Dive. It's a very simple dive, bar, whatever you want to call it, that is home to some very specific people that make their patronage here. Privateers, bounty hunters, really anyone looking for a job makes their way here. And as few patrons are spread around discussing and cheering and having merry time, we turn our attention to three people sitting in what would almost be considered a place of respect or authority, the good seat of the house, basically. A very small table near the balcony overlooking the endless ocean beyond. We see three figures. And you all have been working together for a while now. It's been a few months since your escape from the City of Need. You have commandeered your own vessel. It was something that you encountered on your travels. The previous proprietors lost their way and have now either absconded or are no longer with us anymore. But either way, the vessel was yours for the taking. And while it was not the most... what's the term? It wasn't brand new. It wasn't tip-top shape, but it was more of a crime to leave it there. to be smashed against the waves. And so you all took charge of it and made use of it, if only to make it out of there and make your way here. And interestingly enough, the ship that you happened to commandeer had a bit of a story tied to it. The previous users of the boat seemed to have a bit of a reputation, and who are you to disappoint? And so people would come to you and give you offers and jobs, and some of which were maybe a bit outside of your expertise or abilities, but you may do, perhaps with your own unique and individual styles. But slowly but surely you all became a relative and accomplished crew. And for the most part, people don't really bother you with anything small. After all, the main seats and the biggest tie to this bar is a point system. People complete jobs or accomplish bounties, and whoever gets the highest score gets the best seat in the house. And you all have been holding it for quite some time now. Of course, the score system is a little bit convoluted and people can quite easily lie, but for the most part it's fairly simple. The biggest bounty, the biggest loot, the most things acquired during these adventures, usually the best story puts you in a bit of a higher position. And there are other minor details, such as, amount of people that saw you, or, the amount of people that you had to kill does subtract from your score a little bit, but for the most part, it all comes down to what you managed to accomplish that decides where you are now. And here we are. You're enjoying a nice afternoon, just enjoying the breeze, having a good time, and eating a fine meal. What would you guys be eating or discussing at this point in time? You're both muted, so...
No, I'm not.
Oh, yep, you just unmuted. I gotcha.
Yeah, if Sylvester's by the ocean, he's for sure having some good fish.
Oh, he is? That's weird, because I thought he was in my Sunday campaign. I got you!
I just, when you said I'm looking right at it. Jesus Christ. Oh, yeah.
I got it for you.
How
I'll
silly.
change it.
Yeah. We're even on that score.
I think
actually, I think you did it like 2 or 3
Yeah.
times. But
I think I did it
count
5 times.
The slippery Jack will still be munching on a fish.
Alright. Yeah, there's quite a... not a widespread of seafood, but the choice here is prime. What about Holger? What's Holger up to?
I think Holger is roasting a lobster over a fire.
Inside a restaurant.
Oh, my bad.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, I'll allow that. They've probably got some sort of like setup like at the middle of the table. There's like a little grill that you can like slap stuff. Yeah.
Or Korean barbecue or something.
Maybe there's like some
like
fondue on the side or whatever. Yeah. It's kind of just like a hangout area, not necessarily like a full-on restaurant, so to speak. Yeah. You guys are just kind of chilling.
I would imagine we were talking about the last adventure we went on.
Yeah.
Whatever that would have been. and making plans for the next. But tonight we celebrate.
Since
our pockets are full and our bellies are empty.
Yeah. Since your escape from Need, it's been a bit harrowing, but it seemed like no one's come after you. It's been a long time. And the place that you've come to seems to be a bit on not only the outskirts of any sort of what would be considered empires or landmasses that would be tied to some sort of power. It's just kind of a bit of its own. It's this, actually the cliffside that you're on is on a separate island near the end of this peninsula that outstretches from the land. And it just kind of makes this harbor for all sorts of people coming to get away and maybe escape, maybe running from the law, or, you know, just chasing the horizon, or, you know, looking to get out on the sea, or just live amongst the trees and the shoreline. And it's very free-spirited here in a way that almost seems too good to be true, but it isn't quite too good to be true, because, you know, there are the occasional bouts of violence and, you know, not enough spots at the dock for everyone to dock their ship. You know, there's a bit of quarrels and qualms here and there, but there is this sort of unspoken hierarchy that comes with being a good sport and, you know, actually accomplishing, and, you know, the amount of feats that you have upheld. Which is why, coming to this place, you decided to maintain that you were the proprietors of the ship that you acquired, rather than starting afresh. And you have managed to live up to the reputation somewhat. The ship itself is called the Stug. It's this sort of small vessel that could easily be mistaken as a fishing vessel, but instead it seems to be sort of disguised in such a way. It's outfitted with a lot of different things, like extra oars. It's got a retractable sail. It's also got a magic rudder that allows the ship to move freely through the water. Using a sail will help it go faster, but the sail is not necessary for travel. There's also extra ropes. There's some grappling hooks, not ones that will shoot out by any means, but there's a decent pulley system that allows you to sneak up upon larger vessels, attach onto them, and then pull yourselves up to nearby windows or other sort of compartments to enter, which is how you have managed to steal valuable cargo or investigate locations and, you know, come up along cliff sides of manors and castles. And, you know, it's a very interesting vessel that, you know, in one hand is kind of just a piece of shit that is probably going to fall apart any second, but you've taken some extra tender love and care to make sure that, you know, it'll hold together. Yeah, you guys are just sort of hanging out and enjoying each other's company when a figure enters the high dive, and everyone sort of raises their glasses or mugs or whatever drinks or food that they have in hand at the moment. I think a little bit of butter gets flicked at his direction and someone raises a lobster tail. And he smiles. It's this bright-eyed lad.
Not butter.
Oh dear. It's this bright-eyed young lad that seems to be elvish, although he seems to have his ears been cropped, as if he was either forced to blend into human society, or, you know, perhaps his parentage did not appreciate his lineage. He's got this wild mess of blonde hair, brown eyes. Very, very interesting individual that almost kind of has this like sun-cracked face, very much a kind of young sea master, but he is unfortunately very seasick and actually cannot enjoy time out on the water, much to his disdain. His name is Michael, though, and what he does do around here is he is the proprietor, and people bring him information, he shares information, and people get jobs through and from Michael. So his presence here at the High Dive means that there's something big. There's new jobs to do, and if you can get a word with him specifically, he might have a very special opportunity just for you. But he's just sort of making his way around, and he brings in a small listing, just kind of a paper that he brings up to the bar and plants down. I think there is sort of like a message board that he kind of comes in, updates regularly, and he just sort of plants that up and kind of waves and smiles at everyone while he's here. But then he does turn and lock eyes with Jack, and he kind of gives you a smile and a nod like, I'll come see you in just a minute.
Okay, I was about to wave him over, but that's good enough.
Mm-hmm. He's a bit distracted from a couple other people saying like, hey Michael, you got anything for us? But he gives you a simple nod and lets you know that he's going to make his way over to you, and you know that you're in for a scoop. Sorry, this has been a lot of me just sort of talking, so I want to make sure that I'm letting you guys, be able to jump in and talk or say anything. So.
What do you think, Helger? Think he's got a good one for us?
Well, hopefully it's just as easy as the last couple. Nobody ever remembers to lock the damn back door. It's like they want us to rob them.
It wouldn't matter if it did. We're getting in one way or the other anyway.
Yeah, it's kind of insulting though. Like, you didn't even bother give it the common courtesy. Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you want to work your fingers every once in a while. It's kind of nice to have a little lock every once in a while, but, simple second story work and you're there, so.
Yeah, just a boost up and a
Whoever
work down.
Whoever invented balconies was an idiot. I hope he made a lot of money off of them.
Oh, no doubt.
I certainly am.
The jackass who invented balconies and ornate pillars made a killing off of rich idiots.
I think that's what rich idiots are around for. It's the only reason they exist.
I'll drink to that.
Here's to never becoming rich idiots. Just rich.
Here's hoping.
After a few minutes, Michael makes his way over, and I think like someone just puts a drink in his hand as he's sitting down. Oh, thank you. Oh, so tell me, adventurous, how are you doing this fine day? He's just all smiles.
Doing great.
Good.
How about yourself?
Fine sea insect.
Glad to hear. Well, to be honest, feeling a bit peckish at the moment. But unfortunately, had to make my way here by ferry, so feeling just a little bit wobbly in the knees. So give me a few minutes, my friends, and perhaps I'll join you in your big smorgasbord. Is that the word? I'm sorry. Still not really. Didn't go to school like the rest of you, but anyhow. Anyways.
Well, you gotta remember, when you're as small as I am, a plate of stew is a smorgasbord.
Indeed, my friend, indeed. Oh, But, and he kind of glances around and sort of leans in, and the table sort of creaks as he, like, puts his hands flat on the table and leans in. I have got something for you guys. And I know you just got done with something you're looking for, just something to relax and just sit back to. But if you would just lend me your ear for just a minute, I have something that you know what? I'm gonna be honest, and I need the best and brightest minds and quickest hand and lightest feet on this one, particularly. I promised a very good friend that I'd get someone to deal with this one, but unfortunately that group fell through when they, when he kind of makes a slicing motion with his finger and then a shrug of his shoulders like, I don't know what happened to them. Probably dead.
Are you saying you picked somebody else before you came to us? What's up with that? I'm feeling a little insulted.
Well, you're going to be even more insulted because this job really isn't even worth your time. That's why I didn't even want to bother you with it, but it's so small. Like, you could get it done in just one night. It's nothing. Honestly, and he almost starts to get up from his table. I'm not even sure why I bothered you guys. Hey, you're fine. I don't need to give this to you. It's... And then he, like, sits back down on the table. All right. I like you guys. I
give us a
trust
lot
you
of
guys. You guys are the best. All right? And this may be asking a bit much, but I know that you guys can absolutely do this. 100% certainty. And I can't mess this one up. That's the truth. I promised that I would get this done, and it's just...
You're really cutting into our planning time here. Just spit it out, good sir.
You're absolutely right. All right, there is this big boat, like absolutely enormous. It's full of rich assholes. They called the ship so big that not even God can sink it. Can you believe that? Anywho, I don't know if you plan on playing God this evening, but in the next couple of days they'll be swinging just by the harbor here. So you've got a little bit of time, depending upon your approach that you want to take with this, but there is this very particular box, some sort of artifact that this collector wants returned to his collection that was auctioned off against his will. I suppose it didn't truly belong to him, but he was keeping stored in some old basement that happened upon some richer folk that decided to take it for themselves. Anyway, not exactly certain what it is. Could be just about anything.
I want a little insight check on that story.
Go ahead and roll an insight check.
Alrighty. Oh, it's only an 11.
Okay. He doesn't.
And I
seem
can add
cagey.
nothing to it.
Okay.
Except
I mean, you can
I
if you
take it
want.
back. It's a 15. It's 15 altogether. Yeah. No, it's a 15 altogether. I just forgot to add my modifier. I was just looking at the dice.
Oh, gotcha. With a 15,
But it's a 15, yeah.
it did seem like he was using a bit of his playful banter to sort of both get you guys enticed, like I think when you said at the very beginning, like you came to someone else instead of us, and and sometimes he may spin a bit of a yarn to sort of get you guys hooked and get you guys excited and motivated. And this is what makes Michael so good at his job, is that he doesn't necessarily, expand or tween or, twist the facts. But what he does is he, maybe overplays it or downplays it, but he gets it right in that perfect medium to get you guys hooked and be able to approach it at the proper speed and pace. If he tells you that it's like urgent or desperate, you guys might be going into it a bit like too scared that you might mess up, and if the other way around, then you go into it too cocky. So he's very good at what his job is. So you know that he's doing his usual jargon. So he could possibly be making up the story of what this is or where it's from. But all you really need to know is that there is a crate aboard a ship that needs to be gotten.
Okay.
And if he does know what it is, he probably doesn't.
Is the boat going to be right? Is the boat going to dock in the bay, or is it going to just pass by?
I mean, I suppose we could get it when they're coming into docks. I usually tend to leave that up to you guys, whatever you want to do. If you want to wait until it gets unloaded and carried off to someone's house, but seems to be, for the most part, that at least your group, amongst others, their skill set is based upon water territory and the freedom that comes with it, and being able to, run in any direction, especially faster than the boats that they come in on. It's literally like stealing a wallet from an old person. They just literally cannot chase after you, even if they. And who are they gonna call? Literally, it's next to nothing.
Ghostbusters.
Exactly. It's literally it's a piece of pie, because cake hasn't been invented yet.
Have we got any intelligence on the layout of the boat?
Actually, and he holds up a little bit of rolled parchment in one hand. I do, but do you really want it? I know you guys like to be surprised, and it seems like it's a bit more of a challenge if you don't know, isn't it? I mean, it's literally just a cruise vessel. Come on.
Another group has already failed. That tells me it's more difficult than you think it is.
To reiterate, the party did not fail. There was a party that got the acquisition for this job, and they did not return from a different job.
Ah, gotcha.
Correct. So this is not something that someone went to do and failed.
Yeah,
right.
I was confused on that too.
Okay, I apologize. That is, yeah. So to reiterate, this was a job.
Okay, it's good. We got it all clear.
This was a job that was put into motion, or not into motion. It was to be done by another group that has since then disappeared. Whether or not you get any ominous tones from that, I suppose, is up to you. But yeah, no, the ship, the vessel itself, is not aware that people are out to steal something. Yeah, Michael has a layout of the boat, but he's asking you guys if you really want it because this job is so much of a piece of cake already, or do you want to be surprised?
What's the layout of the boat?
Oh no, we want the diagram.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, no, he's asking.
You know that's just bait. Come on, man. Come on, Michael. You know this is just bait. Come on, man.
He's asking if you want training wheels. He's asking if you want him to put on the bumpers while you're bowling. That's what he's asking.
Look, he can talk as much shit as he wants. We're not gonna get trapped in a one-way hallway.
Okay.
Yeah, he slaps it down.
Besides, it's just bait to make sure that we want to do it anyway. Come on, we're not that dumb.
Yeah,
I'm a little wiser than that.
Yeah, he reaches out to exchange it for you, and then he kind of like pulls it back. He's like, "How about a trade?" And he like points at the bit of lobster that you've got in your hand.
I'll hand him the tail.
Want some fish? No way I can eat this whole thing by myself.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he just wants like a bit of lobster. He's like, yeah, actually the saltiness of seafood always seems to calm me down. I don't know why. I mean, you guys know me. I love the sea. It's just so heartbreaking that no. Anyways. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever told you guys, but actually the sort of salty taste of food actually helps calm my seasickness, which is interesting enough. It's kind of ass backwards in a way, but yeah. And he drops the parchment on the table, and he just takes a bit of lobster and kind of just starts nibbling on it a little bit. You know, he doesn't want to barf, but it does seem to be sort of helping his queasy stomach a bit.
It's
Looking
because
at,
when you eat salty food, it makes the water go in your stomach.
yeah.
That's why people who drink seawater die. It's because all the water in their body goes to their stomach to try to equalize out. Just kind of weird. See, your body, your blood wants to stay naturally neutral. So if you get too much salt in one part of your body, water will come from the other parts of your body to water that down and spread it back out equally. So that makes sense that he has to do that.
It dehydrates you. Yeah.
Yes.
The drawing is not official. Someone definitely snuck into somewhere, sketched this on a piece of parchment, and tucked it away. It seems like it decently survived its journey to you guys. Again, this ship is unlike anything you've ever seen before. It seems like it's still in a bit of its designing stage. This seems like a prototype. Even with your guys' vague experience, or not vague, new experience with sea vessels, the construction of the ship doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Like, the very front of it is very pointed and sort of jutting up out of the water to make like this very long sort of spiral needle stretch that just seems to be a design choice and not very water.
You mean like a narwhal coming up out of the breaching out of the water, that type deal?
If you imagine like a normal ship, and then imagine that like the very front of it is just like this very sharp triangle jutting straight up. Like, it's not curving so that it would break against waves naturally. It's just sort of, piercing outwards. Like, it looks like it's trying too hard to be fancy and special and not actually necessarily seaworthy.
Like the head of an axe.
It looks like it's very back heavy. It looks like it would easily sink. It would not handle any rough weather at all. This seems to be just sort of a cruising vessel. Very much just like a limousine yacht sort of scenario. It's just sort of very impractical. Yeah. The design of the ship, it has 3 levels. The top level actually seems to have let me describe it from the bottom up. The bottom section of it is storage, as always, and then just above that is some very basic sort of seating and living quarters and whatnot. And then that's sort of where most people seem to be actually living. Then up from that seems to be like huge dining halls that are just kind of open space, so maybe better rooms. And then that level also extends out to the deck. And then just above that seems to be where the arcane engine is sort of placed. As well as the sort of steering of the ship. It seems to be completely automated, just sort of cruising and adjusting. There's some minor crew, but it seems that for the most part, the people that paid thousands of dollars to be on this vessel for its main voyage didn't want to see anyone that wasn't wearing like $1,000 ball gown. So there's very little crew, and actually one of the main draws was that this vessel is very limited in its crew. So most of what's on there is actually like catering and, you know, people, cooks and jockeys, you know, people to take care of the rich people basically, but not a whole lot of crew, barely any security. It would be assumed that whatever security would be on here is probably whatever the rich people brought with them, if any at all. And that's just kind of the situation. Yeah, this was the main thing that I really wanted to sort of let you guys do, is make up your plan of attack. And if you want to do any other research or investigation, you've got a couple days. But that's mainly what this campaign is going to be, is me prompting you with a scenario, but mostly leaving it really open on how you guys tackle it. Like, I'm not going to give you, you know, an obvious answer most of the time. Yeah, whatever sort of plans or decisions that you make now, I will also... I really want to reward you for doing stuff in the planning stage. So whenever you're doing something from the plan that you guys have, I will give you a +1 to all of that. So if your plan is to sneak through the door and head downstairs, if there's a locked door along the way, I'll give you +1 to unlocking the door. Stuff like that. So yeah, the planning strategy of whatever you guys are going to do is, I think, going to be a big part of this campaign. So yeah, it's really up to you guys what you want to do now. Like, I can keep describing stuff, but it's, yeah.
I think Holger would
How big
try
are the
and
portholes?
Go ahead, Jack.
The area that we're going to infiltrate, how big are the portholes in that area?
There are portholes to the second level. I'm trying to figure out.
I guess the first thing I should ask is what level is this item on?
Right. It would be in the cargo hold, which would be the bottom. I'm just trying to figure out, like, on a boat, is the top level 1, or because it's not like a building where it starts from the ground and goes up, is it? It would go down, wouldn't it?
Well,
It's like main
yeah,
deck,
the deck
then
is
all the other
basically
levels.
ground level.
Gotcha.
You've usually got like the poop deck up where the captain, you know, navigates from, and then everything else is sub levels.
Okay.
And usually, at least the storage area is like underwater, because that's what's giving it ballast. So, there's not going to be any portholes down to the storage level, is what I'm saying.
Correct. There are going to be portholes on the level just above storage, but just below the main deck, and that's where all the living cabins are.
Okay, then what we need to look for is the closest porthole to the stairs going down into the storage compartment.
Okay.
That we can fit a note through. Like little me, Slippery Jack.
Okay. But yeah, this would also be the time to, you know, figure out what sort of materials that you're going to gather. And I'm not going to make a big deal about, you know, gathering materials. You know, if you want something like rope or, just sort of generic stuff, I'm going to say that you want to get that. If you want to get something like a thermal drill or a jetpack, that might need to be purchased, or, maybe have a scene to do that. But I'm not going to be a big stinker about this. The main reason why I'm pointing that out is because I just want to be sort of specific in what you guys do. So, if there is something that you are planning to use, let's go ahead and announce it now in the planning stage, so that there's nothing necessarily assumed when the heist starts.
I would like a
Right.
That's why I was specific about what your boat sort of comes equipped with, is mainly this pulley system and the fact that it can move wherever it wants to. So you can attach yourself to the ship and go to any level on the ship.
So I like your idea of getting uniforms. We should probably try to disguise ourselves as part of the limited amount of crew. And my suggestion would be either we carry either a ladder or coils of rope with us to make it look like we're working. I guess coils of rope they wouldn't need on a ship like this, though. Now that I think about it.
Yeah, most of the stuff is automated. I mean, not that rich folk would probably bat an eye at someone carrying around a rope or a ladder, or a rope ladder.
Or a toolbox.
Yeah.
Yeah, a toolbox with all my thieves' tools, and it would be nice to be carrying around.
Okay. And yeah, if you want to say that at this point in your career that you have like a toolbox of all your thieves' tools, you can just say that.
I would think so, because I am proficient with thieves' tools, so I would think that somewhere along the way I would have put a kit in there.
Okay. I kind of like the idea of like a toolbox though, because normally when they say thieves' tools, it's usually just like a couple small items you can keep tucked away on your person. The actual idea of having like a full-on toolbox full of a bunch of different things is really cool. I like that. Because you never know, you might need a pipe wrench or something.
Yeah, I imagine it's a regular handyman's toolbox with a false bottom.
That's good too.
There you go.
It's just a toolbox of holding.
That's an interesting idea.
Yeah, you just open it up and there's...
But it only holds tools.
Well, because it's a solid container, you wouldn't be able to adjust the opening of it to fit certain stuff in it. Anywho. Yeah. Do you... I do.
So once we get in, if we can get down to the second level...
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say that I do have it open in Tailspire. I don't necessarily want to show you the inside of the vessel, but I could definitely show you outside. Would you be down for that?
Yeah.
I'm interested.
Yeah, I'd be down for that.
Okay.
I'd also like to ask around and see if there are differing uniforms throughout the ship, or if everyone's wearing one uniform.
How would you be researching that?
Try and find anyone who has worked on a similar liner.
This is the first of its kind.
Ah, gotcha. In that case, I would look for... maybe not shipbuilders, but... How is about individuals?
I think that no matter what we wear, as long as we wear matching outfits and stay together, people will assume that we're just some part of the crew that they don't know about.
That is fair. I could just be overthinking it.
I want to hear what you're overthinking it was, though. It may be better than that, so let's hear it.
My thought process was the servers that would be facing the clients, the rich assholes, would likely be wearing fancier uniforms than the people underneath.
I give you that, that's probably correct.
People in the magic boiler rooms wouldn't be wearing tuxedos. So if we wanted to be ignored, I believe if we can identify a maintenance uniform, that would give us the most wide access.
About perhaps just one of those, like, zip up one pieces. What do they call those things?
Onesies? Or,
Jumpsuits.
No. Coveralls. No?
Coveralls,
no,
yeah,
not
yeah,
coveralls. Is that right?
Yeah, coveralls.
Oh, coveralls, jumpsuits, something like that.
Jumpsuits, that was the word I was thinking of. I'm gonna top off my water, but you guys can keep discussing.
Yeah, my idea is basically pretend to be maintenance. Pretend to be maintenance running around the ship trying to find weak points or access points to various hot ticket items.
Yeah, I could go with that. We could roll with that. That sounds like a good idea. But we should, like I was trying to say earlier, we should try to get access as close to the stairs down to the storage area as we can, just to avoid as many people as we can.
I'm back.
And just deal with what's downstairs. By the way, since I got a quick question. Since we are going back and forth in time here, at what level would we be when this is occurring?
Level 1.
Because that. Okay.
You guys are still sort of getting a feel for the whole situation. I'm gonna say
I
probably
wasn't
after.
sure how far forward in time you're going.
This is your first real heist, I would say, and it's still sort of easy mode, but still, I think the sort of stuff that you guys have been up to has sort of been. The current situation that you have at this point in time is that everyone assumes that you have more stories under your belt than you actually do, because you are in possession of the Stug, which the story of it and its crew has a bit more of accomplishment than you guys actually have experience with. So I think most of what you guys have been up to is getting a lot of free passes, because people just sort of assume.
Are you saying we're stolen valor guys? Is that what's going on here?
Sounds like it.
Yeah, a little bit.
I think stolen valor is a bit too disrespectful from the actual situation that you guys are currently in. Because I absolutely do not approve of stolen valor. More of what I think what you guys have done at this point is you have done some missions and whatnot, and they've probably been more difficult than this one, but this is sort of the biggest prize that you've plundered, if that makes sense.
Right.
The other ones probably took weeks or such of not only planning and preparation, but also, working to actually accomplish them. This is just sort of not only the quickest and easiest haul, but also the probably most expensive and, And that's what most people are out for, is the accomplishment and actual achievement more than the actual like loot necessarily. What do you need?
Can you show us where the easiest access point to the hold is?
The hold is all the way down here, and I made it so that all of this is just sort of sitting on the water. I would say that the water level would probably actually be up to here, so it would be completely engulfing the cargo hold. But I put it down here so that the inside actually isn't flooded.
Right.
Best guess, emergency ladders off the rear.
Right. The most easy actual access would be to what would be the main deck. So this is the it's the deck just below the main deck, because this is the deck. This is the main deck, and I guess this would be the poop deck.
Right.
So this would be the main deck.
Right.
This is where all the sleeping arrangements are. This is where the balconies are and people wander about. And the poop deck, or not the poop deck, the storage is all the way down there.
Actually, you missed it, didn't you? Okay, no,
I think there might actually be 5 decks to this thing. No, I think there is only 4. Just some of them are thicker than others.
We've also got the bilge.
I don't know anything about ships.
They flood the lowest portion to keep it from swaying too much.
I don't think they actually did that with this boat.
Oh, this thing's gonna flip so easy.
I know. And you assume that it's because it's just kind of so wide that it's kind of buoyant, because it's almost a raft, more than it is like an actual ship. And of course, this thing is cruising very slowly, just like barely at all.
Is this like the magical equivalent of those riverboat gambling things?
Sort of. This is more like I don't know. Again, I don't know what your situation is on like yachts, but basically, it's more of a show of. Have you guys ever heard of glamping?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
It's more. It literally has next to nothing with the actual act of being on a boat, but just enough that it's like, oh, we were out in the water. We were on a boat once. Yeah.
Rich people trying to live it up.
Yeah, exactly. Doing the most stupidest and dangerous stuff.
So, Holger, what kind of magical abilities do you have that might be helpful in maybe getting me in and out of this place? Or do you have any?
Not many. A lot of my abilities come to usually end up hurting people or defending myself.
Yeah, that was the one thing that I was
Can't you have like
about.
an invisibility spell?
I did kind of throw you guys in together like, yeah, you've been working together for a while, but I think this is actually your first experience as players knowing what your characters each do. So, I apologize for that. I just figured that this would be the quick and easiest way for you guys to, well, get into the action, one, but also to sort of get a feel for your team. Unfortunately, one of you isn't here. The show will go on.
Have you asked anybody else if they wanted to join?
I have spoken to one person, and they said no. I haven't really been able to think of anyone else that would be sort of good. But if you guys got any ideas,
Not particularly, because I pretty much don't know anybody from the town I'm in, so
Right.
I'm kind of screwed as far as that goes.
The problem is that one, Wednesday evening campaign, and secondly, Pirates D&D. So, but yeah, I'll ask around a little bit more because I don't want to get this too small or too big.
Can I offer a solution?
Yes, sir.
I used to play in a D&D campaign that I've played for decades, and the way that we played is that each group, because there were several groups within the campaign, played 2 people playing 2 characters. So there was always a total of 4 in the group. Which sounds like it might be too simplified, because you would. Well, I guess what I want to say is when you do that, it actually improves the role play, because you can no longer just say, "Hey, Mike, it's your turn. What are you going to do?" It has to be, "Hey, it's either Slippery Jack's turn or it's Bibbidi Bop's turn." So you have to slip back and forth in between those two, and it actually encourages better role play. In my opinion.
I mean, would that be something that you guys are interested in? Controlling more than one player? Or one character?
I wouldn't mind, because I've done it, like I said, for a long time, so.
Holger?
I've certainly never tried it before. Well, I tried it once in combat.
It's good because you can... Well, when it's both characters that you build up from first level, it seems to help out a lot, because you kind of develop a synergy between the 2 of your characters, or the other players in the group. That's kind of unique, because you can come at it from 2 different directions.
Okay, I actually do think I have a way of
that
doing this as a plot thing as well, but I'll think a little bit more on it later. We'll have to discuss after the session, I think, but...
Okay.
So, the plan so far is that you're going to get on board, find disguises, and then make your way down to the cargo hold?
Yeah, I think our current option is to acquire their generic maintenance costume, go to maybe laundry to pick up any specialized uniforms we might need, then make our way towards the cargo hold.
Okay.
It might be even better just to have our own uniforms made before we even go, but just as long as they're matching, I don't think people are going to question it. What do you think about that?
It's a small crew already. They'll know basically everyone.
Well, the thing I just thought about, the flaw about that, is that you'd have to have somebody make them, and then somebody would know what was going on, so that's a bad thought anyway. So yeah, stealing a uniform would be better. Although it's going to be most likely difficult to find one my size.
That's true. If we can steal one ahead of time, then maybe we can get it fitted, I guess would be the term. More to your size.
You do have 2 days and 3 nights, not including this day, for while they're out on the road, before they go on the ocean, before they come into port. So you do have some time if you want to do any surveillance. Maybe spend 1 day or night going in, maybe stealing a costume or copying it. Again, I'm not trying to give you ideas. I'm just wanting to make sure that you guys know all your options.
Did you? I'm sorry for repeating the same question, but did you say that they were stopping in port or just docking outside and then moving along?
They're gonna be out on the ocean. They're departing later this evening, and they're gonna be out in the ocean for 2 days and 3 nights, and then they're gonna come back into port. This is the cursory launch of this vessel. Wanted to see if it actually works, and of course, all rich people want to get in on these very exclusive things. So, just everyone sort of dogpiled on to this prototype vessel. So,
like when Elon took the billionaires into space.
Yeah.
Stealing clothes, getting that far.
My feeling is that once we get on the boat, we should probably do the job no matter what. Because I don't feel comfortable with trying to get on the boat twice.
That is true. But if it comes down to a brawl, I don't think we have much of a choice but to leave or die.
Is there a reference to how big our ship is compared to this one?
There is. There it is. And I'll slap down some tokens too if you want.
But ours is very fast and yours is very slow.
Yes, indeed. Your ship is very fast and they are
So
very slow.
we can.
What the heck? Why do they just fall through? Oh. There we go. This is to scale. It's a very large vessel.
I think perhaps if we come up behind it at nighttime, running silent, we might have that might be our best chance. And somehow take that back ladder platform.
Assuming we don't stumble into a drinking party, I think playing late night maintenance would be the good idea.
I mean, looking at the plans, if someone wants to make an investigation check, you can see if there's any, hatches or secret entrances or, maintenance passages or something. Because it seems like all the portholes on the lower levels are directly into rooms.
Got an 11.
I'll just give you that one for free. With an 11, it doesn't seem like there's any external entrances into the cargo hold.
It's underwater.
Would make. Yeah.
There are stairs at either end of the lower levels below the deck that lead upwards and downwards. So that would be how you would move between the levels, as at the port. No. The stern and the bow of the ship. Front and the rear. So if you got on to either the front or the back of the ship, you would be pretty quick to get in, get to the stairs, and then get down into the cargo hold.
I'd also like to try and...
Sounds like a plan for me.
I want to find out the name of one of the nobler families that are on the boat.
How would you be doing this? Basically going into town and seeing, like, who's not home, like, who got onto the ship, trying to find maybe a dossier, or just sort of asking about?
Loose lips sink ships, so I'm gonna see if I can find, maybe a ship hand getting drunk at a bar.
Are you trying to sink this ship?
No, I'm trying to find out somebody's name, preferably a bastard who doesn't like it when somebody interrupts them. So that way, if I do get found out, I can be like, ah yes, Lady So-and-so has told me to go get this. Do not keep her waiting.
Okay. You would not find anyone that works on this vessel hanging about in town. The people have already departed. Or, actually no, I did say that they were leaving later this evening, so if you wanted to try and go into town right now, see if you can do anything about the ship, see who's getting on the ship, maybe figure out what sort of crew is getting onto the ship. Because I would say that if you left for town right now, you would probably be able to get there and do a little bit of investigating before it takes off.
I think we should definitely do that.
Okay.
There's a chance to steal a uniform before they leave.
Let me just move over here real quick.
Ooh.
Yeah, this is just sort of town. What's sort of your approach here? What do you... You just kind of want to get close to port and see who is there and whatnot? Or you still
we
want
got
to
deliveries to make. We have deliveries to make. Oh, we could always Trojan horse it. We could put me inside of a cask and deliver it and tell them it's a cask of wine that needs to be put down in storage.
That is an option. But are you comfortable being stuck in a barrel for however long?
I think they're going to head out to sea pretty soon.
I would say this, that
It's
if you wanted to time like you getting out of the barrel in the middle of the night, I would say that you guys could get some pocket watches or something. That's not a big deal. If you wanted to like set timers or something, so like as soon as they pull up, you jump out of the barrel or something.
Well, I think the want is that we find him a maintenance uniform, get him in it, get him in the barrel. He springs out at midnight, grabs the thing. I bring the boat around to meet him, and he hops on and we speed off.
Doesn't sound like a bad plan.
Okay. So the plan is to get you in a barrel and stash you amongst some of the cargo so that it gets put on the ship, or you actually... Is someone in disguise to store him as cargo on the ship right now?
We could steal a delivery man's uniform, why not?
Okay. I'm just going to say that one of these is definitely more difficult than the other. So, who... I guess, Holger, it's up to you to be in disguise and attempt to blend in as you bring in this cask.
What are you going to tell them it is? Because if you tell them it's wine, they'll probably want to drink it. You might want to tell them it's something like potatoes or something like that. That would also... Because wine, a cask of wine sloshes around. so
and if anyone
there's no sloshing motion or nothing, it's not wine.
And then if anyone taps on the barrel, you could say potato. Just make a potato sound. Do you know that joke?
What's happening? No.
Yeah, I remember that military joke.
Yeah. Basically, there's these 3 soldiers that are getting chased, and they head into this village. One of them jumps into a bag full of potatoes. One of them jumps into like a kennel full of chickens, and I don't know what the other one does. But basically, the other 2 guys are like, cluck, cluck, cluck. Oh, it's a bunch of chickens. Well, let's go over here. Meow. Okay, it's just a bunch of cats. And then they go up to the sack of potatoes, and the soldier goes, potato! Oh, it's a potato sound. Okay. That's the joke. Anyways. And it's not a very good joke, but I like it.
I'm going to...
Jokes never have to be funny. You have to try.
Yeah. Well, you know what makes jokes funny?
That's one thing most people don't think about. Yeah, but all jokes come from the same place. It's just that some of them are funny and some of them aren't. But they all come from the same creative place. That's why sometimes people bomb. So anyway, let's steal a delivery man's outfit and get some spuds on board.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna say that as you come down to the dock, you can sort of make your way through the back streets and kind of come up upon. There's a bunch of pallets and a bunch of other stuff. There's just people moving all about, wheeling stuff in and around. They're not all necessarily in uniform, but they're definitely wearing different clothes than you are. So if you wanted to knock someone out and steal their outfit, you would have to do that. And I wouldn't make this too difficult a thing. I would just say probably both of you make stealth checks to do this action of grabbing a guy and knocking him out. Since this is a group check.
It's weird rolling this shit and not knowing that I can add stuff to it now.
Hey, I got a natural 20.
Wow. That balances things out a little bit. Balances it out to an 18.
Okay. Yeah.
23.
It's not the quickest or quietest job, but you come up with a decent. I don't know if you come up with a distraction. I think you just sort of grab a guy pretty quickly and knock him out, and you quickly change into an outfit. Did you bring your own barrel with you, or you just? It doesn't really matter. I was just curious.
I mean, it was kind of necessary to the plan, so I would assume we had.
Okay. Yeah, you brought your own barrel. That's fine. Yeah, you steal the disguise. Easy
and
enough.
I might even already be in it.
Sure. I was going to say that you probably weren't in order to help out knocking out this guy, but now you are. You climbed into the barrel as he was putting on the disguise. Yeah, easy enough. Yeah, I would like Holgar now to make a deception check in order to board the vessel.
Ooh, that's a 6 plus 9, 15.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Yeah.
Not bad.
You know that you've got to be pretty quick and come back and get this guy suited up, and get him back into some situation where it doesn't seem suspicious that he got knocked out or anything. You're on limited time, but you move fairly quickly, but not too quickly or too slowly. But yeah, you make your way onto the ship. Everyone's just sort of moving about. While you're on the ship, do you want to poke around for anything or listen to any information, or are you just dropping off the barrel?
I am going to put the barrel out of a sight line of any of the stairs that would lead into the storage area.
Okay, so somewhere in the middle, behind a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're smart enough to sort of tuck it behind a bunch of other stuff where it doesn't make sense for stuff to get stacked on top of it, but out of the way that, you know, if a small little person were to climb out of it, no one would see him.
Yep.
I'll give that to you for free. But that didn't really answer my question of, are you doing anything else while you're on the ship, or are you just dropping off the barrel?
I am, as I'm going down the stairways, I'm taking stock of where potential hidey holes could be. And then as I set them down, I'm going to describe
make a perception check.
.22.
Okay. Looking about, you can figure out that there's a pretty easy and quick beeline to get down into the storage area, and it almost seems like the boat was designed in such a way that all of the crew and people working the ship would be completely out of the way of all the rich people. So, like, I don't want to even see the peasants, you know. That sort of...
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're living in the walls.
Oh, you mean like a real cruise ship?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What were the things... You said you were going to whisper something to, Jack? As you set down the barrel?
Yeah. I was going to describe his location. Be like, okay, you're in the back left of the hold.
You want to be in the middle, because... to either end of the ship is where stairs are.
Gotcha. So I'll be like, you're in the middle of the hold.
Let's actually go over to the ship, and you can decide where you want to put the barrel. How's that sound?
Ooh, sick.
Can't really...
it's underwater.
Oh, it is underwater.
Oh, no.
No, it isn't.
I'll be floating.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
I guess it's just
This
really
would be
shadowy
underwater.
then.
It's
Oh.
not. It's just dark.
Yeah.
Where do you want to put the barrel?
I'm going to put him across the way from that table-looking thing, next in between the 3 boxes and the pillar.
Put him like right here.
Yeah.
Yeah. You probably put him back here so that nothing gets stacked on him or something, right? Again, this is all pretty generic. I didn't want to do too much detail, but yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'd like put a sack of potatoes on top of them so it'd make it awkward for anybody to stack anything.
Okay.
Okay, here's some stupid trivia for you. Did you know that the reason why people started buying round top chests when they went traveling was just for the specific reason that their shit would be put on top of all the square chests, because you couldn't stack stuff on top of the round chest.
Oh, wow. That's so idiotically mean.
It's so petty.
Yeah.
And that's what rich people would do.
Yep. I kind of want to make you make a strength check for moving the barrel, if you don't mind. This will be a fairly low DC, because you probably have like a dolly or something.
Your strength check.
Strength check.
Ooh, I'm gonna use my reroll.
Mm.
I rolled a 6.
That's right, you just got one today.
Yup. How is that worse?
Oh my god.
I rolled a 6 and a 5 with no modifiers.
Okay. I think this does break into your disguise a little bit, because you are struggling with one barrel, and I think a bunch of people... no one's talking. Everyone's silent. But I think a couple people give you an eye, like, seriously, dude, don't screw this up. And people are just kind of rushing past you. No one approaches you, but, like, you get the idea that you maybe don't want to stick around too much because people are keeping an eye on you now. So I think if you want to do anything else on the ship, you would have to change disguises, or you're probably going to have to leave now. Unfortunately.
Get out.
Yeah, I think I'd get out while I still could.
Okay.
And then as I, like, go past the other guy, put his clothes back on, I'll, like, spill some whiskey on him.
So, the plan is to make him think that he accidentally got himself drunk.
Oh, it's a good.
Well, it doesn't really matter if he thinks he got drunk. It
Can he
matters
prove he did?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Is everybody else gonna think he was drunk?
Okay. Roll performance or deception. Just bear in mind that this is a pretty tip-top class crew here.
26.
Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh, that's a pretty good deception roll.
You not
Pretty
only
good.
I don't think you plant the booze on him somewhere conspicuous. I think you kind of hide it on him, but pour enough like around his mouth that it'll smell on him. And you place him in such a way that when he wakes up, he'll think that he fell and bonked his head.
Yeah, I put it like on his collar and tuck a flask in his jacket.
Yeah, I think that you maybe even get to a hiding spot and watch this proceedings. But yeah, he gets up and he's like, "Oh shoot, I slipped and fell. Did I break anything?" And he like gets back to work pretty quickly. And yeah, very well done. That I was really concerned that you weren't going to be able to pull that off, but that well done.
I almost whiffed it at the end.
Okay. So, in total, what is the plan now? Wait until nightfall and then what?
Waiting for nightfall. He's going to pop out of the...
Well, as you said, we would have got pocket watches.
Yes.
Yeah.
I already stated that.
At a specific time, I'm going to pop out.
Yeah, doing a timed event is not a problem. I just want
Pop
to...
out,
Search. Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to pop out, search for the treasure, and as soon as I can find it... which corner do you want to agree, or which, actually, we could just go to a side, and I could just jump overboard directly onto our boat. We don't have to worry about ladders. I could always just use a rope.
Yep.
So, which end of the boat from the first deck do you want me to be at? Or do you want it right there in the middle where it's open?
I would suggest back left, simply because at this time of night, the rich people are probably getting drunk on the main deck.
This is true. This is true.
As someone who has been on one cruise before when he was little, there were a lot of people getting drunk on the main deck.
Okay. And yeah, if you want to
is there a ledge overhanging from that boat far enough to where our boat can hide underneath it? Because that's where I think that we need to stay. And it kind of looks like there is.
Yeah. I could put it like back under here. And yeah, your boat is just small enough that it would fit underneath the portholes of the floor, just above the cargo. So if anyone was in the rooms, they wouldn't be able to see you. And if you approach it directly from the backside, that's where the least amount of windows are, just in case.
Yeah, we're getting
hopefully
stealthy
everyone's
in
going to be
this.
paying more attention to where they're going instead of where they've been.
Okay. So, in conclusion, the plan is middle of the night. You're gonna pop out of the barrel, search for it, grab it, and then get onto deck. And at that point, the boat should be there. It will have driven up along the backside, hidden, and just be waiting for you to come out.
Exactly.
Okay.
That is the plan.
All right. Michael told you that the whatever it is will be inside a very specific crate. Apparently, it's gonna have something along the side of like. I think it says. What's the word? Because this isn't what it actually is, but they had it stored into something. I think they have it in something like fragile and perishable, to make it look like it's not, just like some random. Yeah, they're like they.
That cracks me up.
Yeah.
Like they carved out a watermelon.
I used to work at a. I used to work at a liquor store where we sold, where we sold a very expensive wine, and we shipped it to foreign countries. And there are a lot of countries that you cannot ship wine into because it's alcohol. But you would be amazed at how much olive oil they can buy. I was literally a smuggler for a while.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah. So, it's really funny because it's fragile and perishable, which one makes you think that it's food, but then also not food. So it's just like, like it's just very suspicious when they were trying to be inconspicuous. It's just kind of funny. Yeah, that is what you. And to be clear, you did not see anything that had that. Probably not that you spent too much time looking about, but you didn't necessarily see something. You were probably just. Ooh, what's happening? I'm hearing myself. Okay.
Oh, my plug went down a little bit.
You mostly saw like food and that sort of stuff getting loaded up. General cargo. Nobody's belongings, nobody's own luggage was being brought on board yet. But that does sort of.
I'm guessing that this cargo is probably pretty separate from everything else because everything else is probably meant to be consumed on the cruise. Just a theory.
Yeah. What was this thing? Oh, Holger wanted to pay attention to any sort of families or like specific groups of people. Are you doing that with the rest of the time in the day that you have? Are you doing anything else? Are you doing another approach, or? Because you kind of had to get out of there, but you probably could be doing something else since the actual families and parties aren't there yet. Do you want to like wait till nighttime until you can see them getting on?
So at the time of the robbery, him popping out of the barrel, there will be families on board.
Correct.
But at the time of loading the barrel, they're not there yet.
Right. Again, this is late afternoon when you brought on the barrel. Moving on to evening is when they're going to be setting out.
Just out of curiosity, Holger, do you have any form of communication in your magic arsenal?
I'm not that psychically gifted. Unlike all of our other characters.
I'm just Just trying to get a feel for it.
Yeah. We do not have Psychic Link in this campaign, unfortunately.
Yeah.
No, I was thinking anything like Ascending spell or anything like that. Not that familiar with the spells that your class would have. Haven't looked them up.
As a point of order, the sending spell does require you to speak aloud the message that you were going to send. So
it is in a. It usually specifies like whisper that only you can hear, something like that.
I mean, if you wanted to get some sending stones, you could do that.
Those are loud.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Okay. But at this point in time, I think the plan is already in effect. I just wanted to figure out if Holger was doing anything else other than getting the ship prepared.
Holger is going to try and prep up some minor ballasts and set it along the side of the boat that'll be making contact with the other boat, so we don't accidentally scraping hulls and making a lot of noise.
Oh, yeah, those are actually already built into your boat.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, your boat is designed for stealth. And the ballasts are actually hidden underneath the water, the way that it's neutrally buoyant in the water. Again, your boat is designed to look like just an innocuous fishing vessel that can move anywhere.
Well, my issue wasn't
nothing worth
floatiness.
Exactly.
My concern was if I pull up alongside this boat and we accidentally knock hulls, that's going to be very loud.
That is an issue simply because the whole of this vessel is oddly shaped, so you'd have to be very careful. But this vessel is moving very slowly, so
less of a concern.
If your vessels were probably to knock together, there would be other issues going on, like tsunami.
Gotcha. Alright, so I won't need to worry about that. So instead, we've got the grappling hooks. So I think I want to prep 2 grappling hooks at either end of my ship, just in case I need to hop off and help Jack.
Mm-hmm. And when I mean grappling hooks, they're not like hooks, like on the end of rope. They're kind of like carabiners. They kind of clip onto ships mostly. You can use them to throw and hook onto stuff, but they also do have general attachment points that if you need to attach to the side of the hull, they probably wouldn't work, but they can go over edges and whatnot. So it's not just relying on the hook part to attach is the point I was trying to get to.
That's fine. I can still just hook it around
yeah, you can loop it around something and then hook it back on its own rope if you just needed a loop.
Yeah, just to keep the boat from drifting away and all that. Yeah. And yeah, I think I'd try and have one of those spare uniforms ready.
So you're gonna get another uniform.
Yeah, this time I'm just going to steal some from spare laundry.
How and where would you do that?
Amongst the storage, would there not be spare supplies for the crew?
You are already out of the ship and back on land. You didn't see anyone's spare garments around, and you gave your disguise back to the one guy you stole it from already. So I'm just trying to figure out what's your plan here. Because disguises are great, they're not easy to come by. Do you want to go to like one of these businesses and try and worm your way into getting a disguise, or do you want to go to a tailor and ask for something?
I think all that's a bit too highbrow. I think he's just gonna grab like a ratty old raincoat and sort of like a bandana.
Oh, okay, yeah. If you wanted to make just like a general inconspicuous disguise to either look like a fisher or something.
Fisherman, and then hide the face when things go down.
Okay. Yeah, and I'll say that if you wanted to get like a general jumpsuit that's roughly the same color, you could probably find that in town as well. It just probably wouldn't have any of like the custom niceties or any of the insignias, or you probably don't have boots that match or anything, but yeah, you could find something close enough underneath the big coat.
Yeah.
Okay. I think the plan is in effect. So what I want to do now is jump back to probably Holger, as you're walking through town and just sort of exploring and experiencing this event where for probably the first time in a while you're kind of doing your own thing. You know, you're not surrounded by people, you know, you're not in your group necessarily as well. You're just kind of alone. And it's interesting because growing up, your life was sort of always listening to what you were supposed to do, what other people were telling you to do, going where you needed to be, you know, all that sort of stuff and whatnot. And I think we jump back now to you waking up in your cell.
I would like to add that during the walk away from the ship post-barrel, he has a moment of reflected irony that he's still doing uniform acquisitions for a company.
Okay. But yeah. I would like to cut back to the scene where you are waking up in your cell. You are just sort of stiff. You're lying cold on the floor. It's very dark. There's no light in your room. There's only light out in the hallway. You're basically in a concrete square where one of the walls has this sort of iron door set into it. And there's basically nothing else in your room. You don't have anything on you. I mean, you are still wearing your broken, ripped up fine clothes, but you don't have anything on you that you normally would have, like keys or tools or utensils. You don't have anything on you. It's impossible to tell what time of day it is.
Guess I feel around for a pebble.
You feel around in the darkness, and the floor is just this solid concrete, or carved stone, I would say, shaped stone. And you feel around. You're not in complete darkness. There is light coming in through the hallway. Yeah, you are completely alone in the cell. You remember the last thing that you were doing is bending down to pick up rocks to throw basically into the crowd. Yeah, you are just alone and there is nothing around you.
I think Holger feels he's not a wise person, but he realizes he just needs to stop looking up to them It'll only lead to disaster.
Do you think your family comes to visit you in jail? Do you think anyone comes to visit you?
I think if anyone, it would be Annie, and she would be doing it against my family's wishes.
Okay.
Like she would sneak in.
Yeah. I think a guard comes by at some point and sees that you're awake, kind of gets a feel for your situation, goes and contacts your family. Maybe later that day or even a day later, it's basically found out that your family's not coming for you. And it may be even a day or several days later that you find out that there were so many casualties on that day that it seems like maybe someone else in your family is either injured or dead, that they just have bigger priorities than you. And the fact that Annie hasn't shown up leads you to believe that she's not coming either.
I think for the first night he has the full mental lapse of, fuck, I'm completely on my own. Even after everything done. And after the first day, after he's sobbed his and completely mourned his old life, I think he'd reflect on what he actually wants to do.
I think one morning when you awake, there is a small box that's placed just inside your cell. It's got this very plain brown paper wrapped around it, just sort of protective. It can kind of fit into your hands. You go inspect it.
Yeah. I'll pick it up and see what it says.
Okay. Inside the box is empty, except for a single note.
And it's a C# minor.
Yeah, you open the box and it goes, boop.
No, it's one of those singing cards.
It says,
the worst insult.
You have been selected to join the School of Witchcraft and Wizardry.
No, it's
the
like
Galpenny Academy of Arcane Arts. No.
C# minor is the saddest of all the chords. Hit it sometime, you'll see.
Yeah, it's just this kind of small. Again, it's. I'm trying to figure out how to describe this because it's not an envelope. It's kind of just like a box made out of. It's not really a box. Like, it does have sides to it. I guess it would be kind of like what you think of like a present box where it's got a removable top from it. But it's very kind of small and thin. And inside of it is just sort of like a folded up piece of paper that you assume is a note.
I'll look at the note.
Okay. The note says, I'm sorry. Please wait.
He'll tuck away the note.
Okay.
See if she's honest.
I think after some time, a guard comes by and sees that you have a box and asks how you got the box or who gave you the box.
I assumed it was one of you.
Did he ask what's in the box?
Oh, jeez. He takes it from you, and actually, I think he opens it and asks, like, what? Yeah, yes. What was in the box?
It was empty.
Make a deception check.
Six.
Goodness
Ooh,
gracious.
Shit.
He
Fuck, man.
You can't really see his face. 'Cause
Oh,
he's
that's a
wearing,
charisma
full
based
body.
thing. That's why.
A what?
Charisma based. He's a warlock, aren't you?
Ah.
Yeah.
That's charisma based. That's how you get the high rolls on there.
Jeez, level 1.
Yep.
He kind of shifts his weight, and you can't really tell. He doesn't say anything. And he starts to actually like rip the box and kind of tear it apart and break it open. And eventually, like a file drops out of it, and he picks it up, and he kind of chortles a little bit, and just sort of walks off. Like the kid wasn't kidding. Didn't even realize that the escape tool was in there. Later that night, you do hear a slight
That's a nice
commotion.
touch on.
What? Oh, the hiding the.
But whoever did that was a nice touch. Put the file in there. Yeah, that was smart thinking.
Later that night, you do hear some noise, a slight commotion, about somewhere down the halls or just somewhere outside your cell. But nothing comes down. Nothing ever happens. How many days go by before Holgear gives up hope?
That first night, he doesn't hear anything specific, does he?
No. I think the first day goes by, nothing happens. Second day goes by, you ask about your family, nothing happens. Third day goes by, you get news about what happened on that day. And then by the fourth day, you get that box. How many more days go by until you lose hope?
The day after the note was specified, I think he realizes she's either... He knows she cares. At least a bit. She can't not care after all these years, but... doesn't stack up to gainful employment.
Make a... I don't want to say what... Roll a d20. I don't want to say what this check is.
Rolling for gainful employment. 7.
Okay. I'm trying to think of how I want to do this next part. And I think with your permission, I would like to have us take a break here. If that's alright?
Sure.
Okay. I'm gonna run and use the bathroom real quick. Be right back.
I will do the same.
Welcome back.
Okay.
How is Holger feeling? Is he getting sad, angry? Is he working through sort of his life and situation at this point?
Holger has gone through sad and angry already, I believe, after a few days. Now I think he's organizing his mind. He's trying to figure out...
He's probably on the bargaining stage of grief?
Yeah, something like that.
5 stages of grief, okay. You think to yourself, you know, if you had a different choice, if you had maybe not necessarily a second chance, but if you could change something, if you could make a difference, what would it be?
If you could change your fate, would you?
Come on, who's making the references now?
It was right there. I think Holger is definitely thinking about... He's been on the straight and narrow for so many years, trying to make his parents proud, and all it ever did was bite him in the ass. None of those employees that he had worked for under him came here for him, and he didn't come here for him. Probably gonna at some point realize that friends can be fickle, and self-reliance is probably the best option. At least until some slimy little guy changes his heart.
I think it's probably on the 5th or the 6th day where I think Holger is kind of healed up a bit and probably gotten to the point where he's probably pacing in his cell, or at least up and a bit more active than just sort of sitting or laying down, just kind of wallowing in his own misery, that a guard approaches. And though you would probably assume that all of them are pretty, non-distinct, you get the feeling that this is the same guard. And he kind of approaches your door quietly, sort of standing there. And he's carrying himself a little bit differently. Where you've seen most other guards, they seem aggressive or at least dominant in their position, trying to be, a very powerful aura about them. This one has its shoulders relaxed. They just sort of lightly step towards your door. They're not marching or shouting or banging on your walls as he approaches.
Can I help you with something?
He looks down and raises up a clenched fist. and slowly reaches it through the bars, almost as if offering it to you.
I'll hold out my hand.
As he opens his hand, what's inside is a small, smooth stone. And at first you don't recognize it because it almost seems like it's been cleaned, almost bleached. It's lighter. It's not as dirty. It seems like it's been scrubbed of disinfectants, maybe, for... Well, why would they... And then you notice red speckles along one edge. And he just slowly lowers it into your hand. And then he just backs up, turns, and walks away. What is Holger thinking in this moment? What is he feeling? I have to assume that, he's probably been through so much that something's maybe changed. Or maybe he's just understood now. Maybe this isn't the moment where something clicked or snapped, but he's now understood the situation that he's in. The life and the choices that's led him here. Something's different now.
To be clear, is this the suggestion that Annie was the one that was killed?
That is up for you to decide. You can reach your own conclusions. Maybe that's where we end this scene. And we cut back to you walking through the streets with your newfound disguise. And you see little kids kind of run through the streets wearing Sunday clothes, but still running around being rowdy. And a couple of them grab some weeds and throw them at each other. Another one picks up a rock and just kind of chucks it at his friend as they chase each other around. And I think it's this kind of infuriating moment where I think the biggest thing that Holger is dealing with is stupid people being in charge, making decisions, not thinking about other people. Or something to that effect.
Could be so easy if they just gave a shit.
Indeed. Okay. We are now in heist mode. To run over the plan again. Just because these are the specific things that you have laid out and planned for that will determine what happens next. You guys have Jack in a barrel on the ship to open up in the middle of the night, find the artifact, and come to the back of the boat. Holger and everyone else is to bring the boat up to the back of the ship and simply wait for his arrival.
Yes, pretending to be
like pretty much.
Yeah, pretending to be a slightly drunk fisherman.
Okay. means it is heist time.
Dun dun dun.
Okay. Your watches are synced, and the hole is flooded. Hold on. Let me also turn up the brightness a bit more. There we go. Should be able to see now. Okay. I don't know if I necessarily need to get out a token, but I'll get one just in case. Let's see, what would be a good one? That's just a straight up hobbit.
Close enough for the adventure.
And these are just all the halflings.
That first one's fine.
The purple one?
I'm good with it. Because it does. The very first one you brought out, because it's got that cloak on. The one you just made disappear.
The hobbit dude.
Because it's got the cloak on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Okay. You are in this space. You slowly lift off the lid. Please make a stealth check.
Okay.
Let's see how slippery you are.
Oh, jeez. How about a natural 1 for a 9?
Okay.
Oh, no.
You go to lift up onto the lid, and it resists a little bit, and it kind of creaks, and you're very slow and careful with it, and you give it just enough pressure that it pops off, and then something was set on top of your barrel. And
yeah, he did put potatoes on top of my barrel, didn't he? That's okay. I just think that it's just the natural way of the ship knocking them off.
It did not seem like it was too significantly loud, but perhaps it is now a noticeable mess. The question now, I suppose, would be, do you leave your hiding place open, or do you now try to stack stuff back in a way of hiding where you are?
Yes, I will.
Okay. Yeah.
I will hide this. I'll try to disguise my hiding spot.
Yeah, you just
As a
close
matter
the
of fact,
barrel
the
and stack the
potatoes
stuff
that
back
were on
up.
top fell off. I will put back into the barrel, so it looks like somebody
It was
has
not
already taken
potatoes.
some.
It seemed like it was actually what's the word I'm looking for? It's kind of like cylinder tubes that would be containing maybe scrolls or parchment, poster tubes or something, those kinds of things. Along with what seems to be some metal utensils. Probably someone's cartography effects that just didn't have a place to be set, so it got set on top of your barrel.
I'd love to have a look at that, but I'm on a mission.
Okay. You begin
I think I want to go.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I want to go across to where that, like across the hall, where that like suit of armor is standing.
Okay.
Investigate that area there. Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and make an investigation check.
Oh boy, is they gonna be here though. Not a good modifier. Oh jeez. I think the plan is going to fail, guys. That's a 3.
Okay. Glancing at these chests, these crates, whatever is down, is that an armor stand? You go and look at it, and sure enough, it's there. It doesn't seem too ornate, which is interesting. Just kind of like a suit of armor. Looking at the crates, you can't tell what they are from the outside. I don't know if you spend too much time actually opening them or looking inside of them, but you don't really understand what this stuff is.
Okay, do I have a general description of the box that I'm looking for?
You are looking for a box or crate, not like a chest or a barrel, and it should have markings on the outside that say precious and perishable.
Right. Right. I'm gonna start looking for that.
Would you like to make a perception check?
Sure.
All right. Just a general glance around.
That's way better. How about 22?
Okay. You do see it's interesting because you can easily tell. I'll give you this. You can easily tell which side of the ship seems to be general cargo from personal effects. So you make your way up to the front. And then looking around in there, you can see that there are crates in here, and some of them have things written on them. What languages do you speak? Or read?
Let me check real quick. I speak Common, Halfling, and Thieves' Cant.
Okay. There are some things written in different languages that you don't necessarily understand, but they seem to maybe be names or like other descriptors. None of them that seem to be general labels. You can see that there are actual like sort of strips sort of pasted on to certain crates that determine if they're delicate, fragile, perishable. The perishables were mostly at the other end of the ship where the food and other cargo is. Over here you don't see a lot of perishable things. I am going to say that if you want to investigate the crates, that perception check will definitely help out. But I'm not just going to give you the crates straight away.
Okay, so I need to hit an investigation. Alrighty. Let's go investigation. How about an 18?
Okay. Just generally glancing through all the crates, you find, you're not just looking at the small ones, but the big ones. You're looking at everything. You're scooting behind things, moving stuff ever so slightly, and not with your hands. You're smart, just to sort of use your elbow. Be careful, just trying to make sure that you can read every single label until you eventually find it. And when you find it, you are sorely disappointed and concerned. And it's this sort of feeling of resentment and maybe anger and frustration that makes you feel like you've been betrayed, because the box that you find that has been labeled with what did I say it was? Fragile and perishable. It is the largest crate down here.
Mm-hmm.
It is easily 6 feet by 6 feet and 8 feet tall.
Okay. Let me check it for traps, I guess. See if I can open it up.
Okay. Go ahead and make an investigation check.
Alrighty. Oh, that's not good. That's a 3.
Okay.
Feast or famine over here tonight.
You carefully move around the box, glancing at it. It's just wood. It doesn't seem like there would be any traps, but you're not certain. It could also be magical. It's hard to say. And because you rolled not great on your stealth, I'm going to say that while you're on the back side of the box, the far side of the box, basically, you hear a sound coming down the stairs, and you realize that this position is getting worse and worse by the second. and it makes you feel...
I'm gonna hide.
Okay. It draws your memory back to another position when you also felt this sort of anger and frustration. And we're going to go down memory lane once again.
Okay.
Let me just change the music again. I don't know. It is the day after the event of that, basically the calamity that was the Harvest Fair. What is Jack up to after that event? Most people are not feeling very not cordial. People aren't feeling like celebrating anymore, to put it lightly. Everyone's just sort of quiet. Some of them are just sort of glad to be alive. People are back down in the underbelly of need and just sort of bothered, but everyone's just sort of quiet. What is Jack up to?
Well, he knows that some odd shit went down, but he would still probably try to cheer up his neighborhood, I guess. Try to spread a little goodwill amongst everybody.
Yeah. You're maybe not treating this like Christmas morning by spreading out gifts, but you're trying to keep spirits up.
Right.
Not act like nothing happened, but, Go ahead and make a general charisma check.
Oh, jeez. It's the feast side again. Or famine, I mean. It's a 5.
Okay. You go to your usual meeting spots. You talk to your usual neighbors. All the usual sayings and greetings and maybe occasional joke here and there, none of them land. And it's almost odd in a way that everyone's unanimously downtrodden. And people are acting like it's the end of the world. Like maybe there'll never be another Harvest Festival. The two cities of need will never coincide again. It is just the worst and the worst. Everything's looking bleak, and nothing you can say or do is raising any spirits. No one feels like trying to have fun. No one feels like going out to eat or drink or play, or no one's really about. Most people are just sort of quietly at their homes. You see like a mother trying to sweep the grime away in front of her house. She kind of looks up at you and then just turns away.
They're not responding well. Perhaps I could hang around the market and help out with people's bills a little bit, perhaps.
Okay.
Help put a little food in some people's bellies.
Yeah. You can assist with like daily duties and try and people do appreciate the effort, but no one's smiling today. And I think it's after a few hours of working here and helping out that you hear some clacking footsteps walk over And when you look up, you see Jack's face. He looks down, and it's kind of odd because his one damaged eye, it's just got this milky film, doesn't really move much, and he slowly reaches up and takes his hat off and kind of holds onto the edge of it as he usually does, just sort of gripping it. I
thought we had an understanding. This better be really good.
I just... Look, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I didn't come here to ask for any favors or give any apologies or bullshit or condolences. He just sort of takes a deep breath of his, as if consolidating what he's trying to say. He also seems pretty shaken.
Okay.
You seem pretty well, for most of us. How do you do it? I'm just sort of curious. Same things seem pretty bad, but you always seem to be separate from that kind of stuff.
It's like this. At the end of the day, either you're going to be alive or you're going to be dead. If you're dead, it doesn't matter. If you're alive, you keep on going. It's as simple as that.
He tries to smile, but he can't. And it's not because his face is damaged, but I think he puts his hat back on, as if getting to the point. Yeah, he swallows hard. Seem like you're pretty good at keeping your hands clean. Not getting attached to anything.
That's how they stay clean.
How do you sleep at night? You go around with this whole Robin Hood attitude of like you're actually helping and making a difference, but how can you just give a kid an apple, pat on the shoulder, and then send him to fall off a cliff? How can you be okay with that by putting in the minimal amount of effort? And you can see that he's getting unreasonably upset, and you're wondering if maybe he's not angry at you specifically, because he's like calling you out pretty hard, but you don't know if it's intentional necessarily.
Well, I will simply reply, would you care to go around the neighborhood and ask the people who had dinner tonight and who didn't? And ask some of those people how they got it. I don't think they find any disappointment in me at all.
His jaw clenches and unclenches several times before he speaks. And when he does open his mouth, he speaks very slowly. Yeah, I bet you feel real good about that. Kind of seems like you're just trying to buy some good karma by the looks of it. Do you actually care about any of the people that you're doing this stuff for? Or you just trying to fix your own personal vendetta? Because you came after me and what we're trying to fight for, and you seem like you don't fight for diddly squat. He's kind of shaking at this point.
Well, apparently I fight for something that you don't understand, and that is the love of my fellow brotherhood.
But if you love them, would you let them die?
Can you stop people from dying? Like I said, my friend, at the end of the day, either you're dead or you're not. And if you're not, you keep on going. A lot of these people have kept on going because of me.
I may be a man with just one half of a face, but you seem to turn a blind eye to more things than I do.
Maybe more things concern you than concern me. Maybe you have a fuller plate than I do.
Maybe you're not handling as much as you should. You seem real content with doing the bare minimum around here.
That depends on your definition of the bare minimum. Because I think I'm doing okay. I don't know what it is that you expect from me, but I don't know what gives you the right to expect anything from me. Who do you think you are, dude?
Who do you think you are? What's your plan? To just stay down here until we shrivel up and die? I'm not talking about fighting a war or taking back what's ours, but they are choking us out until there's nothing left. And maybe you can save your neighborhood, but you can't save all of us. Needs to be saved. And maybe if we had even 10 of you, we'd stand a chance. But do you really think that what you're doing is gonna make even a bit of difference?
Well, if it's not going to make any difference, then you should probably be taking the same actions I am and taking care of the people you can.
Yeah.
If you think your plan, if you think your ideals are going to fail, then you should probably get on board with helping me.
His demeanor changes. It softens a little bit, and he nods. And he takes a half step back, still nodding. You're right. Sometimes you gotta make hard decisions, and it doesn't matter who you leave out to dry. As long as we're all doing our best, right? Sometimes you have to look out for number one. And then you can look out for number 2 through 50. Right? And
you can't look out for him if you don't.
He steps back a little bit more, and it's at this point that you realize that it's gotten really quiet around you, and people are slowly starting to move around. And then you see it. A figure.
People I recognize or people who don't know?
You see people in the marketplace kind of starting to cower or move away or hide behind something, and then you see a figure in stark white armor, a security guard from New Need, and then you see another, and then you realize that you're completely surrounded. And Jack slowly takes off his hat. What'd you say?
I said, is this how you ask for help? You bring these people? So what do I see when he takes off his hat?
He's just gritting his teeth. Sometimes you gotta make hard decisions, right? If you plan for failure, you'll never be disappointed. Right? You know that better than anyone. You really shouldn't be surprised by this. And then slowly the armed guards start to approach you. And they take you into custody. Or do you say or do anything?
I think I'm gonna try to run.
Okay. Make a dexterity saving.
I can run right through that. Okay.
I will give you advantage because this is your home turf.
Okay, well, let's see what the first one is. Oh, it was so close to being a natural 20. Instead, it's a regular 20. It's a dirty 20. Let's see what the second one is. Where are you going to land at? Okay, we'll go with the 20.
Okay. You hear a sound from behind you, and you duck just out of the way as a net comes flying in your direction. And then a guard reaches out for you. Does a 16 hit your AC?
Yep.
Okay. He's going to attempt to grapple you, so make a strength or dexterity saving throw. That's another 16.
Well, I got an 18.
Okay. You wrench your arm away from his grasp, and now you're surrounded even closer by a few more guards, but there's a slight opening where you could either attempt to slide through one of them's legs, or you could climb up on top of people's stalls, little kind of set up tents and whatnot, and attempt to escape over them. What do you do?
No, I think I'm going to go through dude's legs because I got the ability to do that, so I'm going to try for it.
Okay. That's going to be another... Oh, that's only a 15 versus AC. Actually, I'm going to give him disadvantage. No, that's still the same. So make another strength or dexterity saving throw.
You know I got the ability to move through them without any penalty, right? Halfling nimbleness.
Oh. Oh, you have a thing that lets you do that?
Yeah, you can move through the space of any creature that is a size larger than yours.
Okay.
And I'm small and they're medium.
This was an opportunity attack. Does that not provoke that? Because that would be really broken.
I would think it would have to. It doesn't say that it doesn't, so I'm assuming it does.
This just allows you to move through their occupied space. So if someone has you trapped down a hall, you could still move through them. That's still pretty cool, but yeah.
Yeah. So what did I need to roll again?
Dexterity strength saving throw, yeah.
Okay.
He did only roll a 9 though, so.
Okay, well I got an 18.
Okay. You dart underneath his legs, and he tries to grab at you, and you just slide through him. Make another dexterity saving throw. As another net launches in your direction.
That's a 9.
Okay. You are encapsulated in a net, just as you see two other people rush up that you were going to have to get past as well. And I think they just kind of come over and hold the net down, and eventually you are cuffed and probably knocked unconscious. And the last thing you see is Jack just sort of looking down at you. And it's this feeling of betrayal and probably frustration that you're now feeling.
I give him a look. I give him the look. He knows he's a dead man.
Make an insight check.
That'd be a 12.
Okay. He's looking down at you with a pretty blank expression. He doesn't look happy by doing this. But the message is, he understands. But now we're back to the boat, and you were gonna hide behind the crate. Go ahead and roll a stealth check.
Okay. Oh, what's this gonna be? Oh, that's not good. It's a 12, I think? Yeah, 12.
Okay. You just kind of push your back up against this. There is nowhere to go, but you do hear the sound of someone coming down the steps. Holgar.
I will hide.
Okay. Holgear. You're just waiting, Jack, basically.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait to see who this is and let him go by me if I can avoid him.
Holger, or is it Holger or Holgear? Because you kept pronouncing it like that, but I don't think it's just spelled Holger, right? You're muted, by the way, if you're here. I don't know if you're here or not. Okay, it seems like he's not here. Let's go back to Jack then. I just forgot to see how he did on approaching the boat with his boat, but we'll come back to that at a later time. Okay, you're just sort of waiting it out, see what happens.
Yeah, I'll do the thing where you see which direction they're coming from, and you circle around the opposite side of the crate if they come all the way down that way.
Yep. They did seem like they were coming from this direction, which is where the sound was, basically. Oh, there is another set of stairs. Let's see. Where would the stairs be? I actually think the stairs at this end are like collapsed and rolled up, so I think you're good. Yeah. I think a voice calls out, "Hello? Is anyone down here?" I'm assuming you don't say anything.
Nope, I'm quiet.
He does not see you. He looks around for a little bit, and you can actually see that there is like a little bit of light approaching as he is. Seems to be, even from behind the crate, you can tell that he has a lantern with him. Are you doing anything?
Okay.
He's just slowly making his way through right now.
I am ducking down and hiding as best as I can.
Okay. I was just letting you know that you had like plenty of time if you wanted to try and do anything, but you're just staying behind the one crate.
The crate that's glowing, that's sitting out there by itself, I'll hide behind it, and then if he comes to the right, then I'll go to the left.
And basically, you're going to play Ring Around the Rosie.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I think I might want to go back to the one where you had me, actually, because it's a taller crate and easier to hide behind.
It is the biggest crate down here, so yeah. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Go ahead and roll either... I think this would be like a dexterity check, just to be kind of positioning yourself in the right spot.
That would be a 20.
Okay, yeah, you do it easily. And I think he stops a couple times like, are those my footsteps? And I think you hide it easily as well. And he eventually does go back out and up. He's like pretty spooked because he knows that he heard something, but he can't find anything. What is the plan of attack now, Jack?
Let's see. I think I've got a crowbar. I think I'm going to try to use that to pry the case open.
Okay.
And try to do it as quickly as I can.
Go ahead and make a strength and a stealth check.
Okay, the stealth check is probably the easier of the two, so let's get that out of the way. Oh, I can't even see what it is. Oh, that's not bad. Stealth check's going to be an 18.
Okay.
Now, the strength check is, ooh, we're starting out at -1, so let's see where we go with this. What's it going to fall on? It's on that 5. Okay, it's going to be a 4.
Okay. You try to stick your crowbar into this thing and try and pry it, and there's no real lip that you can really get into, so what you're having to resort to is pulling out each individual nail, which is going to be considerably quiet but very slow.
Right. So I'm going to have to take my time, and that's what I got to do.
Yep. You're just going to have to take your time. And I'd really like to jump back to Holger, but apparently he's not here, because this is some considerable time, so he'd probably be up to something.
Or he doesn't realize that he's still muted.
Yep. Well, I sent him a message and he hasn't responded, so I think he might just be straight up AFK, which is unfortunate.
Okay.
Kind of don't want to end the session there, but it is kind of considerably important what everyone else's response is. So. I'm trying to see what else we can sort of tap into. I think as you're starting to open the case little by little, you get the sense that there is something inside, and there's like a lot of maybe padding. Trying to think of what they would use. Probably straw. There's like lots of straw inside.
Right.
So you assume that whatever is inside is fragile.
And perishable.
Make a survival check.
If the box could be believed. Alrighty. I'm not too bad at survival. Let's check that out. Oh, it would have been good if we'd have rolled any other direction but that. That's a 7.
Okay. There is an interesting smell that comes from inside that's not just straw. It's not just old or musty straw. It's something that you can't quite place other than maybe something to do with age. Kind of just like an old earthy smell.
Okay. Well, that kind of does sound like a good place to stop.
Okay, we'll stop the session there.